Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to It's Story Time. My name is Miss Sharanda, and we're continuing our journey through the Bible to learn about someone who loved us so much that he came to rescue us. Do you remember who that is? Yes, Jesus! So, are you ready for an adventure? Then come go with me. We'll use our imaginations on the count of 1, 2, 3. It's story time! Did you remember to put on your listening ears? Let's do that before we begin. That's better. We'll be reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible. It's written by Sally Lloyd Jones and illustrated by Jago. Are you ready to continue our journey? Here we go! Think about it! Have you ever received a letter or card in the mail from a loved one? It's pretty exciting, isn't it? Usually, in that letter or card, someone wants to tell us a very special message. Well, a long time ago, God wanted to send a special message to his people. But he didn't send a letter in the mail like how we do today. He used a special messenger. That messenger's name was Isaiah. We're going to hear more about Isaiah in our story today. God often uses people like Isaiah to share his messages with others. People like you and me. I have an idea. You and I can be special messengers for God. He tells us in the Bible that he wants us to tell other people about him. This week, we're going to tell someone God loves you. You can even write them a note and give it to them. Are you excited about being a messenger for God? Me too! Okay, let's continue our story to see what message God had for his people. Operation No More Tears. The rescuer will come. Prophecies from Isaiah chapters 9, 11, 40, 50, 53, 55, and 60. Do you know what your name means? Well, there was once a man called Isaiah, and his name meant God to the rescue. That might sound like a bit of a funny name to you, but it was just the right name for Isaiah because God had a special job for Isaiah. You see, Isaiah's job was to listen to God and then tell the people what he heard. Now, God let Isaiah know a secret. God was going to mend his broken world. He showed Isaiah his secret rescue plan. Operation No More Tears. This is the message God gave Isaiah. It was like a letter God wrote to his children. Dear little flock. A flock is what you call a group of sheep. People are often compared to sheep in the Bible. Dear little flock, you're all wandering away from me, like sheep in an open field. You have always been running away from me, and now you're lost. You can't find your way back. But I can't stop loving you. I will come to find you. So I am sending you a shepherd to look after you and love you, to carry you home to me. You've been stumbling around like people in a dark room, but into the darkness a bright light will shine. It will chase away all the shadows. Like sunshine, a little baby will be born, a royal son. His mommy will be a young girl who doesn't have a husband. His name will be Emmanuel, which means God has come to live with us. He is one of King David's children's children, the Prince of Peace. Yes, someone is going to come and rescue you, but he won't be who anyone expects. He will be a king, but he won't live in a palace, and he won't have lots of money. He will be poor, and he will be a servant, but this king will heal the whole world. He will be a hero. He will fight for his people and rescue them from their enemies. But he won't have big armies, and he won't fight with swords. He will make the blind see. He will make the lame leap like deer. He will make everything the way it was always meant to be. But people will hate him, and they won't listen to him. He will be like a lamb. He will suffer and die. It's the secret rescue plan we made from before the beginning of the world. It's the only way to get you back. But he won't stay dead. I will make him alive again. And one day, when he comes back to rule forever, the mountains and trees will dance and sing for joy. The earth will shout out loud. His fame will fill the whole earth as the waters cover the sea. Everything said will come untrue. Even death is going to die, and he will wipe away every tear from every eye. Yes, the rescuer will come. Look for him. Watch for him. Wait for him. He will come. I promise. Poor Isaiah. He read God's letter over and over to God's people, but no one listened to him at all, ever. They didn't want to hear God's promise. They didn't believe it. Did it sound maybe too good to be true? A story that ends happily ever after? Well, it does sound like a fairy tale, doesn't it? And as anyone will quickly tell you, fairy tales aren't true. Or are they? In this story, we learned that Isaiah's name meant God to the rescue. We also learned that God had a special job for Isaiah. He was called a prophet, which means that his job was to listen to God and then tell other people what he heard. God let Isaiah know a secret, that God was going to mend his broken world. God gave Isaiah a message. It was like a letter that God wrote to his children. God told Isaiah in his secret rescue plan that he was sending a shepherd, who we later learned is Jesus, to look after and care for us and to help lead us back to God. God said that he would be a king, but wouldn't live in a palace and have lots of money. He would be a poor servant king who would come and heal the world. He would be a hero to fight for his people and save them from their enemies, but he wouldn't use armies and swords. He would make the blind see and the lame leap like deer. People would hate him and wouldn't listen to him. He would be like a lamb. He would suffer and die. God said it would be the only way to get his people back. But he said in his message that he wouldn't stay dead, that one day he would be alive again. God promised that the rescuer will come, that we are to look for him, watch for him, wait for him. He will come. Now that you've heard the story, it's time for trivia! Trivia means I'll ask some questions and you'll answer them. But don't worry if you answer incorrectly, because we're all learning together. Are you ready? Let's go! Question number 1. Isaiah's name meant God to the A, people, or B, rescue. The answer is B, rescue. Question number 2. Isaiah's job was to listen to God, then A, tell the people what he heard, or B, keep it a secret. The answer is A, tell the people what he heard. Question number 3. God was going to mend his broken A, heart, or B, world. The answer is B, world. You did it! Wow! You all are super listeners. I enjoyed reading and learning with you today. I hope you can join me next time as we continue our story through the Bible to learn how God loved us so much that He sent someone very special to rescue us. All right, see you next time on It's Story Time.